I'm gonna write them out as just a whole note. I don't really care, but I'm gonna make these something very different.
What? I've never seen those.
So what are the numbers?
So those are the frets.
Yeah.
And then the string. My fingers don't stretch that far.
Sure they do. Wrong fingers.
What do you mean?
No, so you totally had the shape, but when you start doing that, reevaluate what fingers you're using, because if you were to use your pinky and ring finger, and then your first finger, then you can have so your first finger is gonna be right. No, you were right there.
And those two down here.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Feels weird, right?
It feels so weird.
So we're gonna work on your hand position in a sec. But I played again. I kind of missed it.
I can't.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a weird stretch though, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening here is you're playing you're like at the start of a movable chord.
Okay.
So the nice thing about like fretted instruments, especially, but like string instruments, is you can play the same shapes, and you don't have to learn like a new fingering necessarily, right? There's a lot of repetition, I guess. So when you're playing this shape, there's a couple things to bring up. Just these three notes you're pushing down, that's what's called a power chord. They're not major, they're not minor, they're just kind of these their own kind of thing, right? Okay. You can play them anywhere. So it's just that, how many times have you heard that? Something like that, right? Or, like a lot of it works, right? But it doesn't really have the same quality. So like if you were to listen to here, I'll play it as power chords, then play it as like the full bar chords, which are when you start putting your fingers down over, like one finger down over maybe even all the strings. But you still have that foundation, right? So we have, so if I were playing sounds very different, right? Than just that sort of thing. Yeah. So you're kind of playing the start of these shapes where you can move them around, and if you know those, there's literally like 4 main bar chord shapes that if you know those, you could technically play any song. Most unless it has like some sort of diminished chord, or has like an augmented or some sort of like altered kind of chord, you could play pretty much anything. So if we have that shape, and this is one thing that I think is important for tablature, is that people try and figure out what's similar, more, rather than looking number by number, right? Or note by note. So if we had something like this, same exact set of zeros, right? And then that is the exact same shape. It's just moved down, right? So you go from and when I say frets, it's going to be based on your first finger, because that's like what's called the root of our chord, right? So right there, yeah. So it's a bigger stretch down there, right? Oop. You don't need to skip strings. So your first finger would be here, and then you were skipping one in between. Yeah, nice. You could move that to this. You could move that up. You could start that on 9 or 11, and that's a little bit different feeling, right? Okay. Were you gonna ask about the dots?
No, I know they're 3, 5, 7, 9.
Yep, and then 12 is the double. If it's easier to go backwards sometimes. But yeah, if you have it like you could do it up there. You can move it up 2 more frets even. Start it on 11. Yeah.
It's cramping already.
Yeah, that's all right. And that's a good point. If that starts happening when you're doing this, you never, for one, don't play if it hurts, right? But through the pain. Yeah, right. Don't do that. But yeah, if your hand starts getting more tired or more of that kind of feeling, switch it up. So you could, if it works better for you to kind of cover a few different topics in a practice time, you could say switch to rhythms at that point, and then just do chords that were easier, like the E minor and C's and stuff, right? But yeah, you could play this anywhere. So like just not anywhere, but like there's a lot of places. So you can play it 7, 9, 11. You can keep going, right? We could also play it in a more reasonable spot, like 4, 2. And actually, here's something to bring up. If we were playing this shape and we were to go to the 0, right? So it would be like the nut is doing the job for you, right? I'd probably actually play it with these 2 fingers.
Okay.
Just so I can leave them on there, right? So if I had like, right, rather than this kind of garbage.
Yeah, because then you have to find where your fingers are going.
Yep.
Again.
That's all right. The other thing that you might hear, like just to show you another example of like that slash chord idea, you might see it sometimes where you have like that first one we did, the 7th fret, and then, so this is what's just a big E5. This is actually a big power chord. If I do this, it would be, because I'm changing my low note, but I'm still keeping the rest of the same chord. So it goes from E5 to E5 slash whatever this note is, so D sharp.
Okay.
E5 slash D. So like you might hear that a lot, right? How many times have you heard like either of those progressions or?
Because we have a lot of 90s songs.
Oh God, yeah. That's very much
so.
so.